everybody, and welcome back. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's a wrap up of all the incredible books that we have covered in the past few months. And I think we read and review, what is it, 15 books, Rich?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
we read like 15 books. We
Yes,
it was
it's,
tough, but
yeah,
we did a lot of reading over the holidays and stuff like that. So
yeah. So it came together and, total disclosure, there's a bunch of books in here that we've read and had on our shelves for a while. So they're
exactly.
awesome.
So instead of just running through each book summary, we're not going to do that. BJ and I want to chat a little bit. We want to riff a little bit and ask some questions to get us and you, our listeners, thinking. So we've grouped them into categories to make it a little bit easier. So we're not going
Yeah,
to cover all 15. We're going to have
no.
four categories that we're working with. So if you've been following along, this is a great way to tie it all together.
And if you haven't, consider this your ultimate cheat sheet for the last 15 books that we have covered. So, all right, let's go. Let's dig in. Rich, give it to
Okay.
us.
Our first category that brings in three books is we call it habits and discipline. Are we actually changing our lives? Are we
Yeah.
changing our habits? Are we changing our work habits? The books that we covered were Atomic Habits by James Clear, The
Mhm.
5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, and Mastering Discipline and Mental Toughness by Daniel Walter.
Yeah.
So let's start with this. Have any of these books changed your daily habits, BJ?
Well, I have to say that I found James Clear's books was stringent, like very, very to the point. Excellent book, little hard to
Yeah.
to like get all of those things. What did you think of the 5 a.m. Club?
5 a.m. Club. I love Robin Sharma. A 5 a.m. Club, I already do it. I get up at
Yeah,
4:30, and I've been doing
yeah,
this for the last 20 years.
I
Um,
know.
and frankly, it gives me a jump on the day. So I love this book, Atomic Habits, too. It
Yeah.
is some of the I grabbed some ideas on really making it stick because I do procrastinate like everybody else does.
Yeah.
And I also, with the habits, it really gets me to do things like making your bed, cleaning the kitchen, doing these
Oh,
things
yeah.
in your life. Because if you run a business, the things in your life, if you have those locked down, it makes running the business so much easier.
Oh, for sure. And I really felt that, like, mastering discipline and mental toughness, I
Yeah.
just felt that that was well written.
Yeah.
Again, you could get into the nuggets of what he was talking about, but he really did a great job. I thought that's a definite. I
Yeah,
loved it.
I agree that people are afraid of the term discipline and mental toughness, but the way Walter brings it, it's like you don't have to radically change your entire life. Just try one or two things, like making your bed every morning. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it could be brushing your teeth at night that you normally don't do, or it could
Oh,
be.
I don't know.
It,
Yes.
it's kind of
It's
funny.
anything.
It's kind of funny when I get out of my car, I usually just throw my seatbelt and get out and I close the door. And when I open the door, the seatbelt's all pulled out. And so I
Right.
made a discipline. This sounds really stupid, but when I get out of the car, I reel back the seatbelt.
Yeah.
It's an older car, but that little discipline affects me when I open the car door and there is
Right.
a seatbelt there. I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah,
So
you're thinking forward. You're thinking
it's little
forward,
things.
which is awesome. Great habits,
So have
super
you
good habits.
tried, did any of these things flop for you?
Um, when you say flopped, I I wonder if Atomic Habits hit me in such a way, like I needed the book
Yeah.
and it hit me, but I didn't. I'm gonna have to reread. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? At the time when I read it, I was like, wow, too deep. Wow, too deep. I just no, not gonna get in there. And you had a great reaction to it, and
Yeah,
you
I
were like
had
totally in it.
these
Yeah.
three. You probably know we've been through 386 podcasts, and if you read my articles, I'm not a foo-foo kind of guy. I don't
Oh,
like life life changing books, and you'll hear me talk about these later in this episode. But Atomic Habits, the 5 a.m. Club, and Mastering Discipline were all straightforward, very,
yeah.
here's what you need to do. They weren't foo-foo books.
No,
So that's
no.
none of them flop for me. So
Plus, plus, plus. Yeah. So awesome. That's great. Now, how about this next segment, which I think is really cool? Leadership and influence. What's the real secret? So let's think about that for a second. We covered Dare to Leave by Brene Brown that I made Rich read, and that was an achievement in its own right. Pitch Anything by Oral Claff, which phenomenal, right? And then Crucial Conversations, A Cast of Thousands by a cast of thousands of people. I mean,
yeah,
so
there were
many
like
people
six
were in
people that
there.
wrote that book. Yeah.
Yeah, but what a book. We covered everything. Like when you think of, I would say Brene Brown was just borderline woo woo,
Oh,
borderline.
yes.
But I thought she had done such a great job of really telling the message. And, maybe it was more to my demographic. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think, Rich?
yeah, Brene Brown's book was really good. I actually liked
Yeah,
it. Yeah, there
yeah,
were little foo-foo parts in it, but it's okay because she's writing to an audience. I
right.
recommend a book all the time. It's called Brag by Peggy Klaus. It has the world's best subtitle, How to Toot Your Own Horn Without Blowing It. It's written for women, but
Yeah.
I literally recommend this book to every one of my clients, all the men and all the women, because it's such a great book. But yeah, I loved Crucial Conversations, and you'll hear me talk more about this. This one was life changing for me when I read it many years ago. It helped me manage my people and leading people when I was in corporate, and it helps me with my coaching today.
Crucial Conversations, knock it out of the park. I thought they did phenomenal.
Yes.
Pitch Pitch Anything. Some of the ideas I felt were dated,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Just some were dated, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to actually be able to kind of get that together. But I'm a salesperson at heart. I'm a salesperson, so Pitch Anything did it for me.
Mhm.
And because I grew up in such a businessman's world,
Yeah.
um, Dare to Lead hit me a couple of times where I kind of was like, oh, a little
Yeah.
creeper, you know, and I kept kind of moving through those books. All good. All good is what I want to say.
Okay, well, let's move on to the third grouping of books. We called it the mindset shift and how to shift your mindset. Are we thinking differently after reading these three books? They were
Yeah.
Think Again by Adam Grant, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, and The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter. Now, all three of these were less instructional, more um, mindset oriented. So,
Yeah.
what would it be if you had to pick one book that changed how we think?
Oh, I thought the Comfort Crisis was really cool.
Mhm.
I I just thought that Michael Easter did something there where he disrupted a concept and took it to a new place. Just
Yeah.
took it to a new place. I thought he had done a phenomenal job. Which one did you feel,
Uh,
you
think,
know,
think Again by Adam Grant.
wow,
Think
yeah.
Again. It really helped me step out because when we're set in our personality and our habits and our emotions, we have a certain mindset. And Adam Grant really got me to think outside of the box and change my mindset quickly or faster. When I'm
Yeah.
hit with a negative aspect or something, I can change my mind quickly. It was great. But any of the ones, what was the term we used on the thing? Flopped, the book that flopped for both you and
Yes.
I was The
Ouch.
Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I mean, she had a
Yeah.
great book before.
Oh,
This
yeah.
one was not good. And if you listen to our episode 385 where we review it, we both did not think it was as good as
Yeah.
all of these other books.
And think about it, Rich. We read a lot of books that are very deep.
Yes.
Go like if just think of the comfort crisis and think then again, those are both very deep books,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, could this be that deep book? The let them theory. Could it be that deep? But no, it would just like skim the surface.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, definitely listen to the podcast because that one had a reaction
Cool.
for sure. But do you think any of them kind of changed your old belief? Like, did you feel like when in reading them there was this like a seismic shift for you? I guess it maybe the
Yeah.
Adam Grant book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You and I both run our businesses. I run a practice, you run a business, you have people working for you.
Hmm.
It's tough at the top. When we were in corporate, we had a boss, and the boss would
I
guide
know.
us, train us, communicate. They would grow us and they would motivate us. But when you're running your own business or practice, they're your clients, but they're not
Yeah.
patting you on the back all the time. So Think Again really helped me make that mindset shift of acknowledging my accomplishments. I've been in business for 18 years. That's a huge accomplishment. Most small businesses
I
fail
know.
after 2 to 3 years. And how many have we seen in BNI and networking
Oh
groups
my
who
God.
I'm starting a business and it
So
goes out of
many.
business? Yeah. So
Yeah.
BJ, you've been in business for going on 20 years now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think my biggest thing, it felt like getting my master's, my doctorate, my master's again, and then my doctorate again. Like all of the ability to kind of retrench and get back in there and fight the good fight. I just
Absolutely.
felt, yeah, you just have a lot of need to reach out to people like an Adam Grant, and really listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, so it changed my mindset of acknowledging my accomplishments and motivating myself.
Yeah.
It's not only the medication; it's motivating internally and getting myself to do these things. So great.
Oh, absolutely. So, number four, storytelling and branding. My favorite part. Does it really matter? Does it matter? The books we covered were Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is during Christmas time, guys. We were way out there. The Torch of Purpose by George Bernard Shaw, and Revenge of the Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. You know, let's get real. How much do we think about branding ourselves? Rich, how much do you really get in there and think about branding?
It's kind of funny. I'm probably one of those weird outliers where every article I write, and I write every week, I'm
Right.
branding myself. I'm taking a stand. I'm talking about a topic. When I do a LinkedIn carousel or a blurb,
Yeah.
or I recommend, I'm constantly thinking, is this is this attracting the right client that I'm looking for? Is this reflecting what I really believe in? When I go on my website and change things like I do on a daily basis,
Daily
I'm
basis, guys.
I'm weird. I'm at one end of the spectrum where I'm constantly
Yes.
thinking, but all of these books really helped me hone and got me thinking about branding, and
Yeah.
storytelling, telling more stories. I'm in the midst of finishing up my book called
Yeah.
Catalyst Leadership. Every chapter starts with a story of a famous company and stuff. and
Mhm.
why it applies to that chapter. So these
Yeah,
books really help me build my story brand.
yeah. And I have to say, when I look at the different books, and obviously poems, stories, and all that kind of stuff, building a story brand had a lot to do with just the structure of stories. Like
Yeah.
it's not just a random story. It has to be a persuasive, or it has to take a person from A to B. And
Yes.
you need to be able to build excitement, build tension, create a mood. Think about the Christmas Carol. I know everybody laughed. We got so many comments about the Christmas Carol episode, and
Yes.
everybody was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that."
E- e-
Um,
yeah. Everybody laughed, but I mean, Ebenezer Scrooge was a small business owner,
I had
and
more
we're
conversations about it from the business end of things. It was
exactly.
hilarious.
It's
It was hilarious. Oh my gosh. And and the torch of purpose,
yeah.
I I think that resonated in a completely different way. People got deep,
Yes.
got deep
But
about.
it was a real reflection of what kind of person do you really want to be? How do
Yeah,
you really want to be in your business? Where do what kind of person do you want to reflect to your clients? What kind of person do you want to reflect to your employees and stuff? It was a great book. If you had to describe your personal brand in one sentence, what would it be? I would say I think my personal brand is that I'm there as a resource for my clients. I'm
okay,
there. I have clients that call me all the time,
yeah,
that need that for so that's one thing. So cool.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. And then what's your final question, Rich? What is it?
Uh, the final question, number 5, is what's sticking with us, and this is where BJ and I choose the one book that really stuck with us. So, all right, after 15 books, what's the one thing that we're taking away from the whole thing? What's gonna stick in our life or business long term? So, out of all these books that you've listened to over the last 2 to 3 months, what book do you think sticks with you constantly? So, BJ, for you, what book was it?
I'm going to say this: building a story brand. Building a story brand, because they're talking in my lane. I i kind of approached her from, ooh, do I feel a little competitive?
Yeah.
No, no, I was impressed with how that book came together, and I thought, okay, that deserves a place on the shelf. That was phenomenal. Which one were you crazy about?
Big one for me was Crucial Conversations. That again, that's
Yeah,
my Bible. And it comes, not only did it help me in corporate in managing the teams that I manage, but also it helped me with my clients because my clients have crucial conversations constantly and I have to advise
yeah,
them. So this is a book that I recommend constantly. I go back to it. I try to read it every few years and I use it as a resource going in because it has
yeah,
chapters that help you deal with certain situations. So it's a great,
yeah. And I thought it was evergreen. The way
yes,
that they wrote it, you totally can get right back at it, and it like starts you thinking about something you've put off,
yes.
that you didn't deal with, and how you need to reapproach it and re-get in there and do it. It's awesome. So I thank you. I loved going through all these books with you.
So, to our audience, let's keep the podcast momentum going. Share this episode on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, Threads, and Blue Sky with the hashtag The Best Small Business Show. Spread the word and keep our community growing by subscribing and getting your friends to subscribe to the show.
And are you ready to take your business to the next level? Reach out to Rich G at richg.com for top tier business coaching that drives results.
And for all things brand marketing and website design, contact my podcast partner, BJ Flagg, at newrenew.com and make your marketing remarkable.
We cannot end the podcast without a huge shout out to our editor and producer, Richard Scalzo, for making us sound so professional in every episode. And also, we love his graphics. Just want to throw that in there.
Yes.
Folks, have an unbelievable week. Crush those gold, read those books, and we're going to catch you on the next episode.